Hey garden friends, we are in the studio instead of the greenhouse because there's so much noise going on outside that you wouldn't even be able to hear, or it'd be so annoying. But I wanted to talk to you about the best Christmas cactus care, or how I take care of, really most of mine are Thanksgiving cactus, but the care tactics are the same across the board. So let's get into taking care of our holiday cactus and get some beautiful blooms. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and or share with your friends. I'm sure someone may benefit from this. So let's talk about holiday cactus. Now, this one that I'm going to show you is a Thanksgiving cactus. I just watered it, and so it might be dripping, but this is the first week of November, and look how it's putting on all these beautiful blooms. Yep, it's dripping. I have it in a terracotta pot because I prefer terracotta for these. And one of the reasons why is I can see how much moisture is in here. Now this particular one, the soil is like a brick. And that's not because it's bad soil. It is because it's become root bound. And now it's just like a big mass of roots in there. But they bloom best when they are root bound. So that is that one. Now this one over here is a different color, but it's also a Thanksgiving cactus, and it's getting ready to bloom. This one is called Exotic Dancer, and it's a fuchsia pink, and it has orange in it, whereas the prior one had white. And I also have a friend who has one it's like a purple with a fuchsia, and I'm hoping to get some trimmings from her to root. Now I have a blog post on rooting Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, and pruning them for making more. There's many ways. This is just the way I do it and have been very successful with. So here's a white one that I will share with you, and it's getting ready to open too. Now I have these in my studio cottage, Primrose Cottage here, and that's where we're at right now. Like I said before, it's a disaster in here. I'm in the middle of cleaning and organizing, and you know how things get worse before they get better. But I just wanted to be able to share these with you while they're so pretty. Whoops, almost dropped that. This is my true Christmas cactus, and hopefully it will bloom come December. This one I just got potted up. I had a really big one. It was from my mom, and for some reason it just started dying. So I was able to salvage some of the stems and root them, and then I just now got them potted up. They've been sitting in here in a jar with a little perlite and water for months. So that being said, so I wanted to go over with you some of the steps to taking care of them, where they come from, and all of that. Now I said we're going to talk about where they come from. They come from rainforests, etc., where they are not actually a cactus but an epiphyte. And that's where they put roots down in pockets of trees, bark, whatever, where stuff has accumulated, leaves or whatever, and they grow out of the trunks, not trunks, but out of the barks of tree. You'll see things hanging. I think orchids are the same. I had a reader from Brazil who commented that they call them Mayflowers because that's when they start blooming there in Brazil. So I thought that was interesting. And so in the US, Northern Hemisphere, that's where they got the name of Thanksgiving cactus, Christmas cactus, etc. So just know that little interesting tidbit. But let's go on to soil. So they don't like to be dry like true cactus. They actually do like moisture. They just don't want to be just drowned like most plants. So I have used regular potting soil. Sometimes I add a little bit of horticultural sand to it to give it more for weight than really drainage, because when they get root bound, it doesn't matter what's in there, it's just all roots anyways. But I give it a little more weight because they can become top heavy, as you noticed with these. These got really big. I'm going to pick up one now. This one's, I think, a white one. And yeah, this one I need to trim back once it's done blooming, and then put more down in here because you see it's getting kind of old and gnarly, this old growth here. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, see, and that's what I did with this one. I just broke off a piece and stuck it down in here to see how well it would root, and it rooted. But I also have on, I think on here on YouTube, and maybe I'll remake it again because I'm going to do some more cuttings of these on how to take cuttings and root them in a jar of water with some, like some stones or perlite, and you can just do it just in a little tidbit of water. All of those work. That was the first time I was successful in putting it directly in soil. And probably because they're out here in the studio greenhouse where it's cooler. And I'll get back to that in a minute, I hope. But yeah, maybe they got neglected and I didn't overwater them, because I think we have a tendency to overwater things and kill them. And that's probably what happened to the cuttings that rotted that I did when I did them directly in soil. To reiterate, soil, I have been successful with just a good quality potting soil. So you don't have to go use cactus soil. You don't have to use, some people recommend, and I did mention this because other people say it works, African violet soil and all that kind of stuff. I use regular, good quality potting soil. You should be fine. Now, when it comes to watering, I water them when I know they're dry. How do I know they're dry? When they're in the terracotta pots. That's very easy because the pot is all dry. There will be a darker mark on terracotta where the moisture level is in there, like if it's down below, way down deep in it. Also, if you have like a plastic pots, I have them in these self-watering pots, you may need some help in really understanding if they need water. A good water meter, like you can get it from Amazon, you can get it from garden centers. And it's just, I don't read the meter about, it's very moist, little moist, because some people say certain plants on there, it takes certain moisture levels. I just check and see if there's any moisture in the soil. If it's like in the middle of the moisture mark, then I don't water. But if it's getting down towards the dry level on that moisture meter, then I do go ahead and water. So that's just my watering. Again, don't treat them like cactus and let them get very, very dry. That is not helpful whatsoever. So let's talk about fertilizers. Fertilizers, you know what? A lot of them say, fertilize at this time, don't fertilize at this other time. You're gonna reduce blooming. You know what? I just fertilize the same as I do anything else. My houseplants. I have an organic fertilizer, liquid-based, and I'm loving it. So I will, in the winter, because things are growing slower, unless I have them under grow lights, I will do it once a month. And I will dilute it by half to a quarter strength. That means like a quarter strength. That means I dilute it 4 times the recommended amount for a full strength fertilizer. And I just do it once a month. So I pick like the first day of the month or the first week of the month, and that'll be my fertilizing of my houseplants week. And that's when I do it. That's it. Nothing special. And they get treated like just about any other plant that I own. So lighting. The holiday cactus like bright light, but don't necessarily like being in direct sun. Now I will show you something where it got too much sun. I was reaching for my glasses. But see how this is red? These leaves, they're not leaves, they're branches or stems. But that is where, when it was on my back deck during the summer, let me put this back down. Some direct sun came through the shade area and landed on that, and it turned it that color. That's fine. It's just saying it has too much light. And so when I moved it in here, it should go back to being green. Bright light, but not direct sunlight. Now in this window here, it's November now, it gets some direct light, but it's not long enough for it to do any harm. And as you can see, they're all doing beautifully. One thing that a lot of people experience when bringing home a holiday cactus is the bud drop. The flower buds drop off. And that's usually could be many things. It could be a temperature change, dramatic temperature change, humidity change, like you go in from the store, you bought it, and then you're bringing it home, and your house conditions are different than the store conditions. Having your room too warm, it being in a draft, that can cause it to drop. But like I have mine here, and I told you before, I have them in here, maybe I didn't. No, this is where I need to tell you. I have them in here because the temperatures in my studio cottage, aka Primrose Cottage, is cooler than inside of our house. Now, many times, and I may take one or two up into my office on my desk and have it there to enjoy, because as it's blooming, I want to see it every day, and I'm not out here every day yet. It's coming upon the season as my garden is waning in needing care. I come in here to paint and etc. And I have thought about moving my office into here. It depends on what kind of internet reception I get out here. In the past, it's been very poor, but supposedly my antenna is supposed to be better. So we'll see. Anyways, but that's why I have them out here. Plus, it was just easy to move them from my back deck out here, knowing that it wouldn't be such a dramatic change for them. That it stays cooler. Now, my office upstairs also can stay cooler. So I will probably take the two that are blooming the most, the Exotic Dancer and the pink one I showed you, into my office to enjoy as I'm in there catching up on bookwork because I'm behind and tax time is creeping up on us. Now, there's a lot of people that have tips and tricks on how to get your holiday cactus to bloom. I find those too much work. So I'm lazy. What can I say? Actually, I'm just too busy to worry about stuff like that. Mine bloom reliably every year. And what I do is in the summer, when it's warmed up, I move them out onto my covered back deck. A covered porch works fine. They're in the shade, but they get the bright light. When October rolls around and it's starting to cool down, the days are short enough that it helps them to set buds rather than me trying to stick them in a closet, put a bag or box over them somewhere, etc. Don't have to. Just leave them out until the first week or second week of October, and then I bring them in. This time I even left them out a little longer. It was starting to get pretty cold, and they did okay, but I was chancing it there. So just leave them outside in a shady spot until October. Go ahead and bring them in the house, set them up wherever you want them to bloom, and let them bloom. That's it. Also, repotting. You know, they usually don't need to be repotted, maybe every 3 years if you want. Many of these I have not repotted at all. They are super root bound, probably wouldn't hurt them, but obviously they're blooming just fine, so I don't need to do that. But if you do, make sure you do not go up very much larger in pot size if you want to pot them up, because they like being root bound to bloom. So just maybe even pot them in the same size pot. If you think they need fresh soil, one of these times, or I probably should take you along and repot one of these that is totally root bound, and then I can show you how I do it and how badly root bound it is. But that's for another video. But don't worry about it. If they're blooming beautifully, unless they're struggling somehow, some way, and it may not even need repotting, and that may not be the problem. You know, sometimes you try stuff to fix things, and it's not what is going to be the fix, but you never know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I've had my Thanksgiving cactus rebloom for me in March, sometimes April, and even into June. So you never know. And it's usually been either my Exotic Dancer, the one, the fuchsia with the orange, or the pink one that has rebloomed. Now I have some that are kind of fancier colors, I would say. I have a salmon one, salmon colored one, and here is one of it, and it's getting ready to bloom. That one's never rebloomed for me. Let me see, and I have a yellow one. And this is the yellow one, and it's only bloomed once. So I think the ones that are really kind of odd colors, that are unusual or harder to find, I think they're maybe a little not as vigorous as maybe the straight pink ones or the fuchsia colored ones. I have found that a more casual approach with my holiday cactus has worked the best. They do like humidity. I have failed to mention that yet. Humidity, because of course they come from the rainforest or humid areas. So out here, it's not really humid, but I have little containers around with stones in them and rocks in them. Now, some people say that doesn't create enough humidity to matter. Maybe it doesn't, but mine are happy. In my office, I do have a humidifier, and I know there's a lot of my plants that I have in there that are tropical, and they do seem to fare better with that. Now, the Christmas cactus, the true Christmas cactus I have that I showed you, and I have an entire video, no, an entire blog post showing you the difference between the Christmas cactus and Thanksgiving cactus. The Christmas cactus will bloom in December, but I don't usually get a rebloom from it. It will bloom for like most of the December, so that's a bonus with it. And it only has, I've only seen it in the one color. It's only been the Thanksgiving cactus that I've seen in other colors. So I don't know what the deal is with that. So I'd have to look that up. I guess it has something to do with the crossing of the two varieties. So I hope this video gave you a little more confidence in trying holiday cactus and or addressed any of the issues you may be having. I think the number one issue people have is with bud dropping the flowers before they fully open because of maybe it getting too dry in your house, too hot in your house, or maybe they've been in a draft or something like that, or a temperature change from the store to your house. That all can do it. So anyways, I hope you found this helpful. Please share with your friends. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up too. And I'll be back in another video very soon.